Let's get the party started. Shall we? Oh, we shall. We shall. Where are we going here? Let's see what's up here. Things to do, places to see. Do. Let's move this over here. So I can actually write. I need to. All right. Got a new video up today. How I write a series. Make sure you watch that when you're done watching this. 3 times each, not in a row. I think you know the rules now. I think you know the rules. Here we go. Here's my cheat sheet for this story. Where is it? Okay, getting some words in. Hot dogs for lunch. Come on. All right. There's Charlie. Good morning back to you. Next 4 minutes is morning for me, so. Hope you're having a good day. Those giraffes didn't give any trouble yesterday. So far, so good. That's all we can ask for, right? Literally, that's all we can ask for. No trouble, but their barn always stinks and it's a pain in the ass. I would imagine giraffes take giant poops. You should tie some of those trees for your car. You should tie some of those around their necks so they don't smell so bad. Oh yeah, their pee is very strong too. Oh, I can imagine. Do you get used to all the different smells of the animals? Just their poop, their pee, and then just their stench, especially when it's really hot out. Or do you just like, I've been here all this long and it still disgusts me? After about a week, you get used to it. Every once in a while, something really nasty happens, but usually it isn't too bad. Well, that's good. I know writer Douglas Pratt, his wife Ashley, worked at a zoo for many years in Memphis, I believe. I think she just recently retired because he's making some really good money selling books, unlike the rest of us. Okay, I'm a couple hours south of Memphis and have been to that zoo a lot. There you go. Can you hear my fan on? I have my fan on low because it's a little warm, but I don't want it to. I don't want it to be annoying. Speaking of someone who's not annoying, Keith in the house. She says, I'm a little annoying. I bet you probably are a little annoying. Yeah. You can't hear good. Chad says, hello, hello. Very important people. Chad, you were in the wrong chat room then. Chad, did you take matters into your own hands when you got home and say to your wife, how dare you give me one cookie? Chad's like, what kind of cookie was it? I'm like, I don't know. Aldi's cookie. You'd be like, hey, I want 2 cookies tomorrow. Of course, my wife was, if you gave me 1 cookie, that means you ate all the other cookies. I said, yeah. And she gave me 1 cookie again. I don't know. There's 2 things there, okay? 2 things going on. She's only giving you 1 cookie because she hates your guts. She can't stand you. She's hoping you take the hint and you leave. Or number 2, she's saying, we've been married for so long, you need to step up your romance game, buddy. You want 2 cookies? You're going to prove to me that you love me. That's my read on it anyway. Come on. She says they're too big for 2, claims I won't be able to eat them. I say, how dare you? Yeah, I said good day, sir. There's that girl, she's appropriately dressed. Tight jeans, tight shirt, walking a dog. That one day was a weird anomaly for her. It was anomalous. You might say. Choices. Maybe it was laundry day. Maybe. But it's you're wearing gym shorts and sandals, but then you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and a knit hat and a scarf on. Maybe she had a chest cold or something. I don't know. She had to cover the top up, but the bottom part of her legs were sweating. All seems weird. All of it. Man, this spam is just getting out of hand. I had one this morning from, what is it, Hache? I always said hatchet, but I guess it's Hache. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? And then I'm like, well, they don't send from an AOL account. And then I look up the woman, and she passed away like 3-4 years ago. I'm like, she wants to have my book so bad, she came back from the grave. Something seems wrong there. Chad says, discovered a new to me author I'm digging, Larry Brown. Been reading his collection, Big Bad Love. File him next to Ron Rash and David Joy. Okay. I will make note of that. I'll make several notes. I'll even draw some pictures. I grabbed some books from the library yesterday. 3 books, but I put them in the other room, and I'm not going to go get them. What did you land on for dinner last night? Um, I made cheese sticks. I'm like, I don't want to do anything fancy. Cheese sticks in the air fryer, and they have the frozen little bags of marinara sauce. So I took one of them out and I left it on the table in a bowl to thaw, which it eventually did. And I was gonna heat it. I was like, "Why the cheese sticks are hot?" So I had that, and then I watched baseball till my wife got home. Tonight, since she's home after work, we are going to go out to dinner, and I was like, you know what? I put this shirt on today, and I'm like, you know what? I want tacos. Tacos. Go to Taco Lou's, hopefully, because they have a magnificent scallop taco. They also have a blackened fish taco and a $10 taco that's only $5. So hopefully we'll go there. You don't ever go there on a Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. That place is crazy packed. Nope. Chaz says, looks like the Tigers are going to utilize something new called Detroit Sportsnet for all their games this year, looking like $20 a month. Yeah, I saw that. You get baseball and hockey in that package, or they have it cheaper. I think there's a cheaper yearly price on it. I will probably not spend any money on a baseball package this year because then all I will do is be watching games all the time and not getting any work done. A lot of times on my second monitor, I will put up the pitch by pitch of a game and I'll watch it that way. We did see yesterday, I think, or the day before, Kyle Keller pitched for the Red Sox. He went an inning. He's one of the guys that lived with us when he was playing for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. It's cool to see him in camp with the Red Sox. Hopefully he makes the team. Just I'm trying to read more and YouTube less. That's probably a good idea. I'm not watching as much TV anymore at night. I'm like, you know what? Like Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, my wife doesn't get home until after 10 from her mom. So I'm like, instead of immediately at like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock going, all right, I'm done working for the day. I'm going to go sit on the couch. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to go and lie down in bed and I'm going to read a book. I'm reading that Innsmouth, Return to Innsmouth. I forget who the author is. It's all right so far. It's my one problem with it is he's trying to write it like Lovecraft did 100 years ago. So hopefully the story will. It's like 3-4 chapters in, and like nothing has happened yet. We're just getting all of the sensations of, water and warped walls and weird noises and all that. So hopefully something actually happens in this. Like, yeah, good. You know what? This is what you do, Chad. Read more, and then make sure my videos are on mute in the background. I got 39 more hours yesterday, so I'm up to 25, 39. So we're getting there. Just I get caught in YouTube rabbit holes. 1 minute I'm checking out some ferret video. The next minute I've watched 90 minutes of Mike Patton. Yeah. And then don't even get Chad started on the 90-minute video of Mike Patton with a ferret. He's watched that 30 times. All right. Tom wrote a chapter yesterday or the day before maybe, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write this next chapter today. The only thing I want to do. 2.5 pages. Lots and lots of garbage emails today. Yes, Whew. Charlie has to write a chapter today too. Title of the chapter: cleaning the giraffe cage. I almost said elephant for some reason, but it was a giraffe. Our anniversary comes up next month. Oh, it's a Saturday. Nice. Hopefully we'll go do something. Get out of town for a little bit. That'll be nice. Where'd everybody go? We had a bunch of people in. Then everybody just seemed to drop off. Seems weird. I don't know either, Charlie. It did get quiet. Key said I just finished that cookie, wanted to savor it. There's no way you could have a second coffee though. You know, there's no way you could handle two of those, especially in a row. I don't think so, Keith. Nice try. Hmm. I hope Aldi has those again. The kitchen sink. It's an Aldi brand cookie, like they're in the bakery section. So I might have to stop at Aldi's on my way back from tacos tonight. Hopefully, tacos tonight. Tomorrow, I gotta get blood work done in the morning. Oh, not looking forward to that. I think so. Lisa went without me. You know what? She should have just hid them from you. My problem is you buy a thing of cookies like that. I'm eating them all that night. Hey, anyone want to sing for just Frank? Get over it. All right, it's gonna happen. I'm more upset about Tommy Clark and Aaron Lewis making fun of Winger uh, touring again. How dare you? Any of the garbage you two listen to, in your drugged out minds, is you can't get better players than the dudes in Winger. Let's be honest. Yeah, Aaron Lewis posted a thing about like who cares more or less because Winger is like, hey, we're gonna tour again, and then Tommy Clark had to jump in and comment as well. Shut up. Well, because with Green Lung or whatever the dumb band you listen to when you're taking your drug gummies, they're so great. Shut up. And the only reason I saw it because I snoozed him again. The only reason I saw it is because she posted it. Everybody's got to be super hard when it comes to music. You can't like something because it's fun. Yeah, exactly. Never heard of this Tommy Clark guy before, except when you guys bring him up. Well, you're very lucky then. I like Tommy for the most part. He just has some really dumb takes on music. He's like John Bowden if John didn't know anything. If John's whole thing about music was, I'm going to make stuff up and I'm going to say, I'm going to give you my hot takes. One of his hot takes at Nikon was when Chris Adler from um, Lamb of God, the drummer, quit. The only reason I know the guy's name is because the guy who does the MondoCon cups, his name Chris Adler, different guy, and he's like, that's like that would be like Lars leaving Metallica. What? How is that? How is that even the same thing? If Lars left Metallica, guess who? Lars is Metallica. Lars started it. Lars owns everything. This is just some stupid drummer that left a band that has like three good songs if they're lucky. Frank says, "You don't know who the Godfather of splatter folk is? Yeah, he's the that's his thing, master of splatter folk." Again, I like Tommy. He just got some big opinions that I don't agree with, and they make no sense. He tries to school you and stuff all the time about just random paganism and how you need trans characters in all of your stories now, and on and on and on. Ugh. Yeah, splatter folk. So that's his thing, I guess. I don't know. I haven't read any of his really most of his stuff, so I don't know what it means. He tries to be BK Junior. Yeah, pretty much. He believes that he has a voice in all of this, and people listen to him. Chad says, "Yeah, Adler's not a standout. He might be a good drummer, but he's dispensable. He's no Bill Ward." Exactly. And you know what? You know what Sabbath did? They still went on without Bill Ward. Tommy's acting like I don't know how Lamb of God's going to go on. Well, let's see. That was I don't know 10 years ago. So they've done pretty well. And you know what? So has Chris Adler. But he's always get like I don't know those dumb takes. Key says Splatter Folk Death Race 2000. No, no, not literally splattering people. It's his horror folk meets splatterpunk. Although it's really not splatterpunk like the rest of them. It's just extreme horror because splatterpunk has to say something. It's got to condemn society. It's got to condemn politics, stuff like that. That's but none of his stuff does that. It's just let's rip apart babies or some dumb thing like that. Splatterfolk is like if the story of Rip Van Winkle was boring. Yeah, I can see that. Ugh. Oh, I had hot dogs today for lunch, and now I'm going to be burping up hot dogs. Boiled, grilled, or fried? Boiled hot dogs are gross. Grill, I just don't. I haven't moved the grill to the side of the house, so I just threw them in a skillet. Chaz, if you read some of the OG splatter, like Skip Inspector Light at the end, the gore is very tame because it's about saying something, but they confuse extreme horror with splatterpunk, splatterfolk. Chaz is in comparison with what they're trying to pull off today. I never read Light at the End of the Tunnel. Didn't David Lee Roth famously say the light at the end of the tunnel is the light of an oncoming train? Boiled is my preference for hot dog prep. I don't like a boiled hot dog. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that's how my mother made them growing up, and they just were gross. Like we have a grill out there. You could fry them up in a pan and brown them. I like my hot dogs burnt. I like blackened on two sides of it. Fried in butter, no boiling. Exactly. It does all go. It always goes back to mom. Always. Exactly. You throw a little bit of butter in there. Not a lot. You don't want to over butter your hot dogs. Frank says, technically, I'm from New York City, so dirty water dogs are in my. Yeah, dirty water dogs. Not you're using clean water, I'm sure. You're not using sewer water, so that's not right. If you said, "Oh, my wife boils these, but we've had the same hot dog water for 6 years," all right, I'm in. That's probably going to be a good hot dog. If I went back to mom, it would be hot dogs cut up in store brand mac and cheese. Yeah, oh yeah, we did that a lot too. Like, I don't mind hot dogs on the stove, but you can't boil them. Like I don't mind throwing a couple of hamburgers in a friggin' skillet that I don't have to pull out the grill or the hibachi or something. You got to do the hibachi again. I haven't done that in a long time. I think we did it for Father's Day, whenever the hell Father's Day was. I had my son and my daughter came over, just them. I'm like, no boyfriend, girlfriend, just the two of you. We're all gonna hang out and we're gonna make. I think we made. I think I made fried rice and stuff. Chad says the good old days. Frank says we weren't poor per se, but we sure ate like we were. Charlie don't mind boiled hot dogs. Arm's nightmare meal: boiled hot dogs smothered in ketchup. Yeah, exactly. Gross. If I had to, I would eat the boiled hot dogs, but I literally ketchup makes me gag. Because ketchup on a hot dog always perplexed me. That's how they do it down here in the South. So we went to Rutt's Hut that time in Clifton, New Jersey, and Shelly started putting ketchup on her hot dog, and that guy thought was going to reach across the counter and choke her to death. He was very upset. He's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm putting ketchup on my hot dog. We don't do that here." She's like, "Well, I'm from Florida." Well, this ain't Florida. Like you put mustard or you put the relish on it. You don't put ketchup. Ketchup is for the French fries. I just walked away. Like I'm eating my plain deep fried dogs, if you get thrown out, I'll wait for me near the car. My oldest daughter used to do that crap. She still might do it. That's why you gotta beat these kids when they're young. Charlie says I put ketchup on the bun, then add the hot dog and put mustard on top of the dog. That all sounds gross to me. Ketchup on hot dog is the pineapple ham on pizza of hot dogs. Yeah, like we go to the Varsity, which is in Atlanta. They're like it's right near the college, and they're like there's like 400 people working there behind the counter. This place is gigantic. It's like a city block, and there's like 1,000 people in there at all times. And I'm like, well, I guess we're in the South because everybody is standing in line for ketchup. I love to put ridiculous amount of yellow mustard on my hot dog, and that's the only suitable usage of yellow mustard. Charlie says pineapple ham pizza is okay. I'm going to agree with you on that, Charlie. You know why? Because my middle child, she always liked ham and pineapple on her pizza, and everybody else was like, "Oh, that's gross." And I was like, "Well, then we'll just do like half a pie." And then, of course, my ex-wife was like, "No," because then the pineapple leaks into the onto the other side. So I was like, "You know what? Then we're just going to order a whole ham and pineapple pizza, and me and Isabella are going to eat it." And we did. Not the greatest pizza, but not the worst either. Chess says it is okay. I don't mind it at all. I'm not a big fan of barbecue barbecue chicken pizza, only because it gets soggy anytime I've ever had it. I like most things on a pizza. I like the works. I like put every vegetable and every piece of meat you got in the place on my pizza. I'm fine with that. I'm not a huge fan. I'll have a plain slice of pizza. For some reason, a pepperoni slice is not my favorite. If you just put pepperoni on the pizza, and I like pepperoni, I just don't like it by itself. Ches says it's mushrooms I don't care for. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. If you said to me, okay, you got to pick two vegetables, right? It's gonna be mushrooms and onions for me. And you're only allowed one meat on that pizza, meatball. Meatball, mushroom, onion pizza for me. Pizza Hut Meat Lovers Pizza was hot molten death on an aluminum tray. Yes. yes, it was. Charlie says, I'm fine with some mushrooms, but they're too big or too many. I don't care for it. See, I am a fan of mushrooms. My wife always goes when she goes to like Sam's Club or Costco or whatever the other places. She will buy me a case of the mushroom stems and pieces little cans. So I get like a dozen of them at a time, and I use them. I'll make my cheesesteaks. If I'm throwing like shrimp with pasta, I got to throw a can of mushrooms in there. I'm doing mushrooms. Got to go on my usually go on my cheeseburger. Frank says, I haven't met a mushroom I don't like. And Frank introduces himself to a lot of mushrooms. And they all seem pleasant. Yeah, I'm a big mushroom fan. I don't like when like my wife will buy fresh mushrooms sometimes, right? And I'm like, if we're eating them, if I'm going to eat them today or tomorrow, but they start getting all like wet. Like I can't have mushrooms sitting in there for like a week. I'm the same way with like, don't buy me an onion, don't buy me a pepper, buy me frozen onions, frozen peppers, frozen mushrooms, or the cans of mushrooms. That way, I don't feel like I immediately have to open and use them because I'm really odd. I'm really odd like that. I mean, she's like, "Oh, you want me to buy celery for like your tuna? Because I know you like to add celery and onions in with your tuna." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I only want like one stalk of celery. Like go into Publix and steal a stalk of celery. Don't buy a whole thing of celery. It's all going to go bad." I can't get comfortable today. Ooh, I got a new video up today. How I write a series. Make sure you're watching that. Frank says portobello mushroom prepared like an English muffin pizza. I'm a big fan if she buys me again, buy me portobello mushrooms because I'm going to eat them tonight. And I use those instead of using a cinnamon raisin bagel, for instance. I'm like, you know what? I have the mushroom cap. I heat it up a little bit, throw it on the grill for a few minutes. Then I'll make a burger, slap a burger and some cheese on top of that. Delicious. Or you're gonna get me a green pepper, and I'm gonna carve it out, and then I'm gonna make cheesesteak, and I'm gonna dump the cheesesteak in the middle of that, or some rice in like sausage or something. You know, stuffed peppers are delicious, but I got to eat them within a couple of days, or I'm like, I don't trust this portobello. I don't like the looks of this portobello mushroom now. She's like, I bought it the night before last. Exactly. You said it yourself. Because I feel like I could probably live off bread and cheese, fresh bread, rolls, pizza crust. Love it. Yeah, we are huge fans of bread in this house and cheese. Like, you know what? Grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch. Good enough. We taped the pilot last night for the Carl Hyacin show. I forget what the name of it is now. Yeah, speaking of cheese, Nick's in the house. R.J. Decker, I want to say, is the name of the show, and it's based on Carl Hyacin character. Like normally, I would be like, "Yeah, this doesn't look all that great." Watching the first commercial I saw, but I'm like, "Oh wait, why does that name sound familiar?" Oh, it's a Carl Hyacin thing. All right, I'll watch it. I'll give it a watch. Chaz says, would love to own my own specialty grilled cheese shop. I'd call it Chatter Cheeses. See what you did there. I'd only sell different kinds of grilled cheese with different breads, pickles too. They're a good combo. Frank says, I think I've only read one Heisen book. You're more of a Tim Dorsey guy. Strangely, a couple of years ago, maybe actually might have been more than that. I had just finished I forget which Carl Heisen book I read. And then I talked to my mom on the phone, and she's like, what are you reading? And I told her, I just finished that. And she says, when? I said, yesterday. She said, I finished the same book yesterday. You should that. Heisen, never heard of her. If you like Tim Dorsey or any of those Florida thriller authors, it's got some humor in it, some very, very strange characters, and Carl Heisen's been doing it for about 1 billion years. First says, I got to have a dippy egg or tomato soup with my grilled cheese. I don't like tomato soup. And I'm just going to make 4 grilled cheese sandwiches and be done with it. Although I do like soup. I'm like, I just don't want to make soup and it's just seems like so much work. Frank says, I read the one about bass fishing tournaments. I think I've also read that one. Nick says, Heisen had been around forever. Surprised it took this long for an adaptation. No, they had that other one too. Didn't they do that other one? Or am I thinking of something else? If I can spell. Yeah. Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn. That's based on a Carl Heisen book as well. Frank said, Heisen doesn't scratch the itch the way Dorsey does, in my opinion. Yeah, they're like in the same class of funny Florida story writers, but I also am more of a Tim Dorsey fan, or was. Let's be honest, he's no longer with us. Chad says, speaking of authors who've been around forever and lack of adaptations, why can't Kuntz ever get a movie? He's got like what, 2, 3? Yeah, they're all not good. They're supposed to be doing. Shit, I can't think of what book it is now. They were supposed to be doing like Netflix or not Netflix, Amazon, since he's an Amazon writer. They were supposed to be adapting one of his books into a series, but I haven't heard that in like 2, 3 years. I thought the Odd Thomas movie was all right, but it did not do well. I never saw Phantoms, my favorite Dean Koontz book, but I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Ches says, and when he does get an adaptation, nobody ever hears about it. Keith says, Bad Monkey was excellent. See, there you go. How do we not have a bunch of Serge Storms movies by now? Exactly. Ches, the best one was probably the Intensity miniseries, but even that wasn't that great. I didn't think Odd Thomas was bad. Neither did I. The Phantoms movie wasn't great. Yeah, I never saw that. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I mean, literally, Ben Affleck was like, I need money, and I'm going to do this movie. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. So, yeah, I'll have to watch Bad Monkey. Not to be confused with the Beastie Boys song Brass Monkey. It's a whole different thing. Choices. I haven't seen the Intensity series. Didn't even know it existed. Yeah, I don't know if I know that existed either. Oh, Nick says, I thought the lead actor and Thomas actor died too, so that wouldn't help with sequels. Yeah. But I think they'd already decided not to do a sequel, and then he died. I don't know if one had something to do with the other, but he says Bad Monkey is on Apple TV. I don't even know if I have Apple TV. Guess there's only 6 ways to find out, right? Shelly says you don't. All right, so Shelly knows. Shelly knows I don't. Shelly, look what shirt I'm wearing today. See this word here? Where is it? Where's this word? This word. Tacos. We should go for tacos tonight. I'm subtly wearing this shirt. Charlie says, I don't have Apple TV. There are too many subscriptions. Yeah, there's just too much going on. We still have cable, which is fine because I tape a ton of shows. But then our cable box, which we got not too long ago, keeps screwing up. And every time I tape something, 10 minutes into the show, it just drops it and says that the show's finished. You want to delete it? And I'm like, no. And then the show starts all over again. I got to fast forward 10 or 11 minutes into the show. So annoying. Shelly likes tacos. Then let's do some tacos tonight, baby. It's not Tuesday, so we legally can have tacos without hopefully there being 1,000 people there. I swear, this morning so far, Neil and his wife have left like 15 times. One or the other, or both of them, in different cars. Like, where are you going all? It's not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You've literally each left like 6 times this morning. Where are you going? Here's something crazy. Go out and pick up do all your running around in one shot. And since I've been on here, they've both left twice, and now they both come back. And I guarantee you, before I end this, one of them's going to leave again. This is insanity. They've dismembered someone in the house and have to scatter him one piece at a time. You know what? I'll give you that. If that happens, I'll give you that. Frank says, mind your own business. How dare you? Then why do I even have a window? If I was supposed to mind my own business, why would God invent windows? You make no sense, buddy. Nonsense. I had a fight with a lady at the library yesterday. Let me tell you that story. Free story time, Nick. I'm wearing my Iron Maiden Number of the Beast shirt, right? Armin is an office in the back. When we first moved in here, this was originally my wife's office. And I was in the back, one of the back bedrooms. And I hated it. And then she's like, I'm not going to use this front room. It doesn't have a door, though. And I'm like, that's fine. So I moved up here. And now I love it because now I just stare at the world passing me by. Anyway, I go to the library yesterday. I'm wearing my Iron Maiden shirt. You probably saw it yesterday. I was wearing it during the YouTube Live. And this woman in this beat up car is in the turn lane to go into the library. And there's nobody coming. So I beep the horn. And she waves her arm out the window. And I wave my arm at the window like, I don't know why you're just sitting there. I want to get into the library parking lot. So she pulls in super slow. By the time she pulls in and I pull in right behind her, a car has come around the bend. And I'm like, oh, good, I'm going to get hit now. Frank says, all that does is make him complain about the trees instead of the people. Yeah, I'd rather complain about the people. Nick says, please tell me she started singing Number the Beast to you. That would have been a much better story. So I park. She finally parks handicap spot. She parks. I park on the other side of the parking lot and I start walking towards the library. And she gets out of her car and she's walking, but she's looking at me. And I'm like, is this lady what's she gonna say to me? She's an older woman. And as we get towards the doors, she's pacing with me now. And she's staring at me. And I don't know what she's staring at. I'm like, do I have food on me? That probably. And she says, I guess you're not a good Christian. And I let that sink in for a second. I said, huh? Your shirt. This devil shirt. I said, oh. I said, it's a band. It's just a band, and it's not a devil shirt. So I'm in the library. We're walking, and she's pacing with me. And she started to say something else, and I said, I just stopped, and I put my hand up. I said, I don't think you're a good Christian, because a good Christian would mind their own business and not give a damn about what somebody else was wearing or not wearing. And she said, well, how dare you? I said, no, ma'am, how dare you? Then I walked away, and I was fuming. I was so mad at this lady. I grabbed my books on hold, and I went to the self-checkout, and the lady who was sitting behind the desk, that other lady, she just walked off, and then the lady behind the desk got up and walked and leaned over the self-checkout thing, and she started chuckling, and she's like, oh my God, how rude was she? And I said, exactly. Mind your own business. Yeah, so I'm walking around spreading the devil's message. So mind your own damn business. I said, you want to be a good Christian? Leave me alone. Then I left. Trust us, I don't think if I can say that here. I mean, I probably can't say it here also. I am also in the South. But it just really annoyed me. It annoyed me the entire drive from the library to Dunkin', where I was like, you know what? I'm getting me a frozen coffee with mocha and whipped cream. She ain't ruining my day. It was delicious, too. Chad says, has she been out in the world in the last 20 years? We metalheads are the least turning people out there anymore. Exactly. But she saw the Eddie and the number, and then the beast, and she thought, oh, here's some crazy devil worshiping white boy walking around trying to convert all the children to Satanists. Nick says, and this is why Armand never leaves the house. And Frank said, seriously, though, you are a bad Christian. How does she know, though? That's my point, Frank. How does she know? I know. I said to Shelly, I got home, I said, hey, I had an incident at the library today. And she's like, why do you leave the house? And I'm like, I don't know. Literally every time I leave the house, something happens. Literally every time I go into a bathroom out in the world, there's some comment or there's something. Maybe she's more of a Limp Bizkit fan. Maybe, you know what? That might be it too. I should have said, do you like Limp Bizkit? I don't think she was a big Limp Bizkit fan. Yeah, every time I go into a bathroom, I'm like in the bathroom, I'm in the stall doing my business. And like some guy comes in with his little kid, and the kid's like, it smells in here. And he's like, shut up, he's laughing. And I laugh. I'm like, it smells in here because I'm going to the bathroom. Shelly says, and somehow when I leave the house, nothing happens. I know. Your life must be so boring. My life, I'm like, let's go. I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to go to get me something to eat. I'm going to have me an adventure today. She's a Blaze Bayley fan is what it is. Yeah, that's the problem. Poor Blaze. You see, I think Iron Maiden got a nomination. I don't think if they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they got a nomination or something, and they left Blaze Bayley off the list. I don't think those albums were all that bad. It's not like you added Gary Cherone into the band. Ooh, burping up those hot dogs. Atom Bomb. I listened to those 4 songs yesterday on YouTube from that band we were talking about. My wife's on. I don't want to mention the name of the band or the saying. She gets very upset when I say that. But they were just awful, really, really bad 80s local band cheese. Like not even good, like not so bad they're good, so bad that they're really bad. And the funny part is on every one of the videos, some lady posted, she's like, I hate these guys. I dated the drummer. He was such a jerk to me. And I'm like, this came out in 1985. 40 years ago. You got to be in your 60s at this point, lady. Calm down. Chad says you get into more trouble if you pulled out one of your Wargasm shirts, Shelly. Yeah. If she wore one of her many Wargasm shirts. She really just wears them on the weekends. Though. That's her weekend outfit. Some Saturdays, I'm like, hey, we got to go. We're like an hour late. She's like, I got to figure out which Wargasm shirt to wear. Do I go with the one with the really bad album cover? Or do I go with this one with the really bad album cover? I don't know. I'm gonna finish this chapter. I'm just. Nick says, when I pulled up YouTube to see if you're on, there's a video for the best Kingdom Come albums ranked. What do they have? 2 albums? How many Kingdom Come albums are there? Let's look that up. I'm gonna look it up, Frank, because you know I like doing that. Or maybe they had like a new album out or something. They're originally fronted by Lenny Wolf, born Frank Wohlschlager. Wohlschlager. That's a name. They have a bunch of studio albums. I'm mistaken. Chad says Kingdom Come got a raw deal. Kingdom Come, they came out too late, and they also, instead of leaning into the Led Zeppelin thing, they're also like, we've never heard of them. Bull crap. Their first Kingdom Come came out in 88. Then they had an 89, 91, 93, 95, 97, 2000, a 2002, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2011, 2013. Wow. "13 albums. And then 2019, they had a classic album collection box set. And a live album, Live and Unplugged, in 96. They've had a lot of members. Zeke Kaplan is their lead singer now, 2024 to present. Lenny left in 2016. Nick says, wow, that would be a list with 13. Poor Lenny, always blamed for sounding like Plant as if his voice was a choice. Yeah. Frank says, "Holy Moses, I was with you on them having only 2 albums, right? I had no idea. I wonder if all their albums sounds like Zeppelin. I liked that first album. The 2-3 songs of it, I remember. In fact, they opened for at the Monsters of Rock, Van Halen, Dokken, Metallica, Scorpions, whoever else was on. They were like the opening band of that. A lot of people booed them though. But at that point, they were. There's backlash from critics to the band being dubbed Kingdom Clone. I remember they had, what was the Gary Moore with Ozzy, the Lead Clones song? Remember that one from back in the day? Yeah, Lead Clones from his After the War album. Poke fun at Kingdom Come. Vocalist Lenny Wolf further inflamed the situation in an interview with Kerrang when he alleged to have never heard of Led Zeppelin. He had been adamant that his and Kingdom Come's greatest influences were the Beatles and AC/DC, particularly the Bon Scott era. Danny Stagg is on record as having said that his biggest influence was Jimi Hendrix. These claims are backed up by the cover of the Beatles classic Across the Universe and the rocking tribute Bon Scott from the same album. However, the drummer said John Bonham was an influence on him and has embraced the Led Zeppelin comparison anytime it came up. Drummer also disputed Wolf's alleged claim that he had never heard of Led Zeppelin. Of course, he was kidding, but sarcasm doesn't translate well to print. I remember that quote was used as a headline, and most people would see that and didn't bother reading the article. But Wolf rejected Stagg's alleged claims that they had never heard of Zeppelin, saying Danny got so tired of hearing about the Zeppelin issue that he just blurted out, "Who's Jimmy Page? Never heard of him." Which, of course, is meant ironically. It's so obvious. But some writer picked up on it, and then other idiots jumped on the bandwagon, like Tommy Clark, writing the same BS, and that's when it started. Wolf would also say that the comparisons were unjustified. No, I think it was justified. Frank says, "Who the kid still listen to Kingdom Come, right? We were barely listening to him back then." Nick says, "That's way more than Zeppelin. Wonder if they moved on to Rolling Stones or another band to sound like. Apparently AC/DC and the Beatles. They were okay at best. They had that one song." Chad says, "Not to diss Van Fleet because I think they're a good band, but they tried playing that we don't listen to Zeppelin BS too." Yeah. My daughter's a fan of theirs. She's always like, "You want to go? They're coming around. You want to go see them?" I said, "No. If I want to hear a band that sounds like Led Zeppelin, I'll just listen to Led Zeppelin. I'll just listen to Exodus." Frank says, "Saw a video with Michael Monroe. Thought he was someone's grandma at first. Oh, he's like 1,000 years old now." Charlie says, "I've honestly never understood the love of the Beatles. Fair enough. I was born way after their time, but I like some old music, but I don't care for more than a couple Beatles songs." I feel the same way. My mother, huge Beatles fan. And so I was never a Beatles fan just because I'm like, I'm sick of hearing these same songs over and over. Not really a fan. But she was also a big Rolling Stones fan. So I never really got into the Rolling Stones as a kid either, because when my mother was 18 when she had me. So she was still in the 70s. She was not, I'm 1980. I'm 10 years old. My mother's only 28. So she's still listening to, WPLJ. She's still listening to the hits. Then she's still listening to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Queen and all that stuff. Ches says Aunt Vinny and Aunt Monroe. Yeah. Michael Monroe just looks like he's 1,000 years old. Did you see the Dee Schneider interview when he was trying not to say who that Sebastian was joining? He was like, "Well, you know, years ago, I asked Sebastian Bach, "Hey man, do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Hell no." Who wants to try to step into your shoes? And then we asked Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks, and he was like, "Hell no. Who wants to step into your shoes?" And then they're like, we just got word today that they went on what's his name's show. Why can't I think of his name now? My God, I listened to him for a billion years. Eddie Trunk. I come think of Eddie Trunk. They were on Eddie Trunk's show this morning, basically saying that Sebastian is in the band. He's like, yeah, they're already rehearsing. He's like, I mean, I know I didn't want to be the one to just come out and say it. But he also said something interesting. Dee Snider said, they said, have you talked? So you've talked to Sebastian? He said, no. Although that was kind of interesting, right? You think Sebastian would have at least called him and said, hey, I know you said it was cool, but just want to kind of check in with you, kind of thing. 18 in life is about your mom having you. Pretty much, yeah. No, not Stern. Eddie Trunk. Or as I like to call him, Ed. E.T. I call him E.T. You know what I do like? A good pizza melt. I do like a good pizza melt. Who doesn't like a good pizza melt, though? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm never getting this chapter done. Here's Frank with his conspiracy theory. Frank, you know what? I hope you're right. I hope someday you're going to go, I told you, he's doing 20 dates with Twisted Sister as a warm up because he's back with Skid Row and now they're going to go on tour. I'd love to see it. It is a little weird, though, that he has not said too much about Skid Row during all of this. Their search for a singer. What's a pizza melt? About $4. Did I say pizza melt? I looked at a patty melt. A patty melt. Have you ever watched any of the auditions on YouTube? No. What auditions? What audaciousness? Did they put up auditions or people are just like, here's my audition? Yes, several times. I do like a good patty melt. I made one not too long ago. Skid Row singer auditions. I will have to look that up. Anybody that we know? Anybody that say they're pretty good? Or is it like This is just American Idol bad. Nick says, "Oh, did you see Oak Island?" No. I Oak Island. See, here's the problem with Oak Island, Nick. I'm gonna tell you. It comes on at 9 o'clock at night, and it ends at 10 o'clock at night. And at about 9:40 every Tuesday night, my wife calls me when she's has phone service on her way home, and then we talk for the 20 minutes it takes her to get home. So she gets home and it's like 10 o'clock, and I've taped it, but I haven't started. And she's not a big fan of it, and so I'm like, I'll watch this tomorrow. So the goal is today at some point this afternoon before she gets home to take a break and watch it. So I have not watched it. And then I'll do the same thing tonight with Expedition X. I'll tape it, but I won't get to watch it till tomorrow. If I get time, because I got to go get blood work in the morning. Then I have therapy. I try to jump on here for an hour or two. So Nick says, what they found, don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it like you always do. Frank says, now I want a patty melt. Yeah. It's what you'd expect, I guess. Watch a few and you'll come around to my Skid Row conspiracy theory. All right. You know what? I'm supposed to be watching Oak Island so Nick doesn't ruin it for me, but maybe I'll have no choice. This lady on LinkedIn, this voiceover artist, she has messaged me 15 times in the last month. Let me send you some samples of my narration stuff. I'm not interested. And I told you that the first time. I'm like, hey, not doing any audiobooks now. And guess what? I have a narrator. I'm now going to leave her. Yeah. Stop messaging me, Merriam Burger. More like cheeseburger. Nick says Billy Milano was under it with another shoe. Really? Thanks for ruining it for me. I knew Billy was going to be on the island. Ugh. Frank says, watch Oak Island. Nick is he is really needy. Because he finally watched something before I did. I did watch, I think it was the Lawrence Fishburne one about the Kraken. If the Kraken was real, that was a good one. I'm a big Kraken fan. And then with the guy, they found that guy, Phil McCracken. Like a 5-year-old. Maybe I'll watch that and then I'll watch the other thing if I can get this chapter done. I'm going to be honest with you. It does not look promising at this point. Not a ton of views on my how I write a series video so far. Come on, people. Crocken with Dokken, yeah. I remember in junior high, Eddie Park kept calling him Dokken. I'm like, no, it's the sticker right on the album on Tooth and Nail. It says Rockin' with Dokken. He also called him Motley Crue. because the umlauts. I'm like, no, that no. Nick says, I saw the Kraken thing too. It's 1K. It's not 2Ks. I'm almost surprised they haven't done a horror movie based on that one boat around World War II that kept taking people under all of the Indianapolis and Jaws. Yeah, that was interesting. You know why they didn't do it? Because it was a Nazi boat. I don't know if that's the real reason. I'm just going to throw that out there. Nick says, and watching the Ving Rhames show just makes me sad. Oh, look how many people died because of this natural disaster or stupid thing by humans. Cracking with Dakin. You need a character named Jesse Bagel. I don't know why, but you do. Okay, you know what? One of these days, when I start a new short story, your mic is too close to your keyboard again, or something from your desk is vibrating to your mic. It's no longer peaceful, and my wife can probably hear it all the way at her work. You know what? That's on her. I've done nothing to. Let me turn the fan off. You still hear it? I have not moved the mic or the keyboard or anything. So I'm not sure why you're hearing that. And you know what? You're ruining the flow of this. Deal with it. Yeah, the Ving Rhames one is good, but it's like here's a natural disaster. Like here's a tsunami that killed 200,000 people. Chess says it's only when you're typing it's really basic like it was a few years ago. I'm not going to apologize for that. It is what it is. I'm helping you so people don't come in here and say, oh, that's too much bass and then bail out. Or people don't come in and go, oh, this guy's bitching about the bass that I don't hear. He's the only one that can hear this. So I'm not gonna stand because I don't want to listen to Chad complaining again. Yeah, Nick. Armin is all about that bass. I'm a heavy typer. Heavy typer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with your ears. People like the sound of typing. Makes them feel like they're doing something. I'm going to turn my fan back on. Man, it's freaking hot. 74 degrees. I can't open my window too much because my cat has decided that she is going to shove her claws in a little hole in the window thing and rip it apart. I'm like, I don't want you opening that because I don't want bugs getting in my house. Chad says Armin is the best at receiving constructive criticism. He is not, and you should know that by now because we've been doing this for many years, Chad. So mind your own damn business. Leave me alone. I don't like being bullied. Yeah, Frank says, mind your business, Chad. Thank you. Yeah, you're not being a good Christian right now. Exactly. He's probably wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. Nope. You are being persecuted like a good Christian. Nope. Come on. Come see the violence inherent in the system. Help, help. I'm being repressed. Exactly. Which was a little trivia for you, which was one of the scenes that was taken out of the original version of Clerks. They didn't want to pay Monty Python for that. There's the mailman just putting more junk mail. Can I say watery? I don't think you can. What's today's coffee mug? This is Devil Mountain Coffee Company, Black Label, not a society, just a black label. Did you see the Zach Wild press conference? Mondo Con 3 is my good. No, it's not. Apparently, Zach Sabbath is opening for Black Label Society, which is both of his bands. And he was doing the thing, and he was saying, he sat down and basically he said, hey, this is Zach Wild from Zach Sabbath. And he's like, what are you looking forward to on this tour? And he's like, I'm looking forward. The singer of Black Label Society, Zach Wild, his wife is hot. I'm looking forward to sleeping with her. And he's going on and on about how hot she is and he can't wait to sleep with her. And she's there and she walks up the side, shaking her head. And she's like, stop. And he says, lady, I don't know who you are, but sit down. Yeah, the Zach Wild. He says the book behind you looks almost like Taco Shed rather than Tool Shed. I'm hoping for a Taco Shed now. Oh, it does. It does. Taco Shed. Frank, there's your book for MondoCon this year. Taco Shed. Tacos and a shed. I mean, it writes itself. I would eat and read a taco shed. I mean, is the shed made of taco? We don't know. Geez, Nick, how big is your screen that you can see that? He's on one of those giant tablets, like the 35 inch tablet. He just carries it with two hands as he's walking around his work. I'm on my laptop, so big enough. For instance, it's a 128-inch laptop. Yeah, that's a pretty big laptop. Whoa, Frank, that's uncalled for. Don't need readers for that big. Next time my wife goes to Atlanta for a couple of days, I'm going to take my laptop and go in the living room. I'm gonna hook it into the 86-inch television. I'm just gonna write from there all weekend or all week, whatever that is. Frank says, "Just kidding. I know your laptop isn't that big. I see what he did there." All right, bathroom time. I was gonna wait, but I'm like, I can't wait another 18 minutes. So talk amongst yourselves. That's right. We'll butt crack for you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I might just need a nap after this, then watch Oak Island. Nick says mushroom coffee time. I didn't even have mushroom coffee today. Frank says, was he wearing full length pants? Yeah, I took a shower this morning. I'm like, you know what? I might as well get some jeans on because we're going to dinner tonight for some tacos. Tacos. I don't think I've ever seen him in not jorts. Yeah. Frank says, if you're new here, stick around. Something will happen eventually. Yeah, something just popped in at that. They're like, what are we looking at? We're waiting for something in the background to move. It's one of those where all of a sudden the monster just jumps out and screams at you. Nick says, I see that Joe out a newsletter. Author Nate Atkins won Chris Lake's most recent Flash contest and agrees to host. Guess Frank didn't win it. No, he did not. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of the action. Action packed. Did Armand wear jorts for his wedding, Frank? Excellent question. Frank, I got that email a few days ago, didn't place top 3, which is good because I would have been pissed if that garbage story did well. I like that story. It wasn't a bad story. Frank says, Nick, yes. Charlie also didn't make top 3 either. Again, it's all a, what do you call it? A popularity contest over there. Nick says, this month's topic is archival horror. Frank says, I hated that story. I did it for you. I like that story. I thought it was a good story. That was your Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey trying to be serious story. People just aren't used to it. That's the only place you'll ever be able to read that thing. I'm gonna read it out loud tomorrow in my right here live on YouTube Live. Charlie says, I'll put my story up on Substack in a few weeks. I need to wait because I just put up a water theme story last week. Can't have too many water theme stories. You know why? Because then people will want to go and urinate. Charlie says, archival horror might be cool. You know, I looked at it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to win again because I just won. I could write a story for it, but I got other things to do. So maybe take some time off. Chad says, I just created a Substack today. Apparently, I already had an account, but I finished my profile and subbed to Johnny Bowden. Never heard of her. Frank says, yeah, that's why I hate it. Too serious. It makes me cringe thinking about it. And definitely not, like, when you're like, oh, I'm going to write a story for it. I'm thinking, this is going to be some weird story. And I'm like, no, that was just, I thought it was a good story, Frank. I'm not just saying it just to say it. I honestly thought it was a good story. I would not have picked it in my for my top 15, top 20, whatever it was. Yeah, I read Charlie's way better. Chaz says, was it in all caps, Frank? No, it was actually a serious one. Trust, there's always a lot of ocean themed submission calls, so I have a crap ton of ocean, river, lake stories. So do I. That's why I was like, you know what? Let's do one about river. First, I was gonna be like, let's do one about water, and I'm like, no, because then I'm gonna get all kinds of weird water, ocean stories and lake story. I'm like, let's do river. Let's be specific. Frank said, I definitely write it as slash because I misread the guidelines, so then I had to flesh it out more, and that always feels wrong too. Troy says we need a sync themed submission call to round out all the types of water you can write about. Then you got to win. You got to win it, and then you pick that. And if you win and you don't pick that, I'll be very upset. If I had submitted a fictional account of River Phoenix dying outside of the Viper Room, do you think they think I wasn't following the River rules? I mean, it was up to me, but is that really a fictional account, or did that actually happen? Charlie says, found you on Substack, Chad. If I won, my theme was going to be Bigfoot narco terrorist. And you would have several people on there that would be very excited about that one. If I ever do win, I will pick Sinkhar. Good. Good old Sinkhar. Let me see if I can find ye old Chad. Why do you decide to join at this late time? Chad Lutsky. Not Chad Lursky. I don't know who Chad Lursky is. Frank would have accepted a River Phoenix story. Yeah, Frank had won. If it was from you, I probably would have accepted it. I was glad none of the other ones were ridiculous like that. Did you say Stinkhar was a topic? What? Oh, Sinkhar. I'll write it Sinkhar. Yeah, Sinkhar. The River Phoenix thing really happened. I know it really happened. That's why I was saying that. But I would have written it like I did my story vigil with all the neighbors gathering outside John Wayne Gates' house as the police dig up the bones. They would have dug up his bones on the sidewalk. I get it. All right, Chad, I added you on Substack as well. Better be following me back. You better be following some cool people coming up, so I can also just follow off of you. All right. You said it like it was a fictional account of him dying, like he didn't die outside of the Viper Room. That's why I was trying to be funny. Just as regarding joining Substack, I did it because I made a public announcement today about my return to writing, and figured I'd start using it. Hopefully you're in. You stick with it. You know what I'm saying? So here's my new one. My Armand's opinion. My Google Ads consultation. Apparently, running my ads on YouTube, I broke policy issue 245. This person just needs me to call them. They need 15 minutes of my time to quickly outline the specific problems and implement the necessary fixes directly in the account. Priti Collet, Global Onboarding Specialist, Kickstart Scaled. To trusted partner working with Google and their customers. And spam.္Frank says, I read your quiet return from your quiet retirement post, Chad. Was it quiet? Were you quiet when you read it? My return was louder than my retirement. You better get on that stat. Yeah. I remember when I had the Kickstarter going, I would get like 10 messages a day about, hi, we're from the Kickstarter team and we're going to help you. And I'm like, yeah, I know the Kickstarter team is one lady because I met her and she does all of the book stuff herself. So nice try. Chad says, yeah, because YouTube is all about making appointments to talk specifics on the phone with you. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we definitely, yeah, we would just want to sit down and chat with you and tell you what you're doing wrong and how we can fix it. It would only cost you a little bit of money. I think I'm doing pretty well right now, buddy. So calm it down. Or as Rat would say, lay it down. I got so much to do today. I need to take a nap. I need to watch Oak Island. I need to watch the Skid Row auditions. I need to listen to some Winger. Frank said, I also watched one of your old Ask Me Anythings. For the record, in that video, it took you less than 5 minutes to bring up the accused. Wait, Chad's also mentioned the accused on his videos? Come on. Chad says, "Did I?" Frank says, "Reply to that email that you're a deaf mute like Helen Keller. An email is the best method of communication." Chad says, "What can I say? I've been in love with them since I was in my teens." Frank says, "No shame in fandom." Yeah. No shame in love and Phantom of the Opera. Wait, no, that's something different. And not so much that you like the accused as much as it is that you like the accused drives Armand nuts. Yeah. It rattles me. I'm rattled right now. Like a rattle that's been rattled. Like Bo Radley. I really wanted to finish this story, but I mean, technically, a few more lines. All right. Just says, "What's funny is just how much I bite my tongue about the accused." It's more of a manufactured driving me nuts, you know? Also, for the record, the accused is the only band I can't listen to while my wife is home. She hates Blaine's voice, absolutely hates it. For me, that's the whole charm of the band. That's most of the stuff I listen to. I'm gonna tell you who my wife really, really doesn't like is Cinderella. She, as soon as Tom Kiefer starts singing, she's like, "No," she turns it off. Ooh, she must hate Brian Johnson too. Then, yeah, she's not a huge, but she doesn't really like lose her mind over it per se. But for some reason, then she when a Britney Fox song comes on, she doesn't lose it, even though that dude they forced him to sing like Tom Kiefer too. But she likes Jesse James Dupree from Jackal. I don't know. It's very she does not like Ozzy's vocals either on a lot of stuff. I did finish the chapter. So chapter 36 of 50 is done. Setting up for 37 for Tom. Frank says, I love that chick. No, Tom wrote yesterday, 4 o'clock, he finished the chapter. And then I just finished mine. Okay. I don't rush anymore because he'll take like another week to write his next chapter. What chick? Tom Kiefer? Next page, next page. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me today. I want to thank everybody for watching it after the fact. We are getting there. I want to apologize to Chad Lutsky for being on his case a lot. It's uncalled for. I apologize, my friend. Stop talking shit about my keyboard. And I won't talk shit about the accused. How's that for a trade-off? Next is another pop-up recommendation. YouTube was Mr. Brett from Bad Religion recommending his top hardcore albums, and the accused were in there. Thought of you, Chad. There you go. I gotta remember to drink a lot of water tonight, so I'm not dehydrated when they try and take blood from me tomorrow. Those damn vampires. Bloodthirsty vampires. Chad says, that's funny considering I don't like Bad Religion. Interesting, you don't like Bad Religion. I'm not a huge fan. I do like several of their songs. Not all of their songs. I don't really know all of their songs. What's that one song? That old song? We're Only Gonna Die. Is that the name of it? Biohazard did a cover of it. Biohazard did it live in concert when I saw him a couple times. The whole crowd singing along. Good stuff. I'll tell you what, these hot dogs are starting to move around a little bit in my stomach. It can be good. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to go and I have many, many things to do today. So I'm going to go do them. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back and I will talk about the excellent tacos that I have eaten tonight in the future. Until then, Fugazi. I like Fugazi. I'm sure Chad likes Fugazi. Thanks for hanging out, Keith. Thanks for everybody who is watching my videos after the fact several times each. Yeah, got to watch some Oak Island as well. Yeah, they were repeating on me like a howitzer. Just as I love Fugazi's first album, but much prefer Minor Threat. Overall, I like Minor Threat, all of Minor Threat's discography. I like Minor Threat more. But there are 2 or 3 Fugazi songs that I like more than any other Minor Threat song, if that makes sense. But I don't love all of the Fugazi stuff. That's just me. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate everybody hitting the subscribe button as well. And I appreciate the people watching after the fact and leaving me comments.